Black boy joy, she wanna see the Forbes like I wanna see her form. Tell me what you for, yeah. Ayy, you pay me, but I'm old, yeah. Yeah, all this money on me. Yeah.
Yes, here we go. This is the brand new show. I'm very excited about this. I have been thinking about this show. I've been thinking about this philosophy, this goal, since I was 22 years old. And I think the show, the name of the show is fitting, Millionaire Before 30. I am Brent Daniels.
And I'm Ryan Zolin.
And we're excited. We're excited to really break down the blueprint that we have put together to be able to build that up, to hit that goal of being a millionaire before 30. I am obviously like a week away from being 40, so I'm coming from a perspective of on the outside. Ryan is 23 years old,
Yes,
and
sir.
he's $50,000. Listen to me, $50,000 away from hitting that mark at 23 years old. And that's what's going to be exciting about this show, because we're going to be talking about financial literacy.
Yep.
We're going to be talking about investing in real estate, finding opportunities.
Absolutely.
And I think that you're going to be able to give your perspective on what people under 30 are going through
Without a doubt. Yeah,
right now.
for sure. Well, and also, too, allowing the blueprint to be shown to people that are not at 30. I mean, most
Sure.
people don't believe that you can make $1 million before you turn 30 years old, and it's absolutely able to be done. It's just a matter of obviously having the blueprint and staying consistent. So.
Well, it's understanding understanding how to make money first, how to provide the value to be able to get that income, and then what do you do with it once you have it?
Don't lose it, right?
Right?
How do you keep it?
Listen, I'm telling you, that was a big issue for me in my 20s, for sure. And we'll get into all of that. But let's talk a little bit about Ryan. So why don't you just give us the breakdown? Yeah. I mean, show me, Matt, will you please put up that picture of Ryan that we have? Show me how you went from this kid.
Oh, man.
This kid 6 years ago.
Oh, my gosh.
To $50,000 away
Wow.
from being a millionaire before 30. So
that's one of the surprises.
Yep.
First off, thank you so much for that. Senior photos. I love it. I love it. Dude, so that was 18 years old. I think I might have even been 17. I was going into senior year of high school. I give all my credit to my business background on the business marketing club DECA. I was in that in high school for...
Explain that, because a lot of people... By the way, guys, we're going to go for about 15, 20 minutes here, and then we're going to open this wide open for question and answers. This show is mainly question and answers. We're going to do 15, 20 minutes in the beginning, and then we're going to get into question and answers. So make sure, if you have any questions at all about real estate investing, about Ryan, about how he gets deals, about how I get deals, what's the best strategy right now, how you find that income so that you can save it, make sure that you're putting it in the comments section as we're talking. We're going to build this thing up and build some momentum on it. But you're 17 years old, doing the good pose, looking great in your senior photo.
That was all the photographer, man.
And
All the photographer.
6 years later, you're here. And,
Yes.
and talk about that DECA thing, because that blew me away. There was a thing in your high school.
Yeah, so it's a business marketing club. It's basically where you were given a role play scenario in competitions, and a lot of it was just business related. So there could be an instance where if you were like my judge, you could be a business partner of mine, you could be a boss, you could be a corporate, you could be the CEO for all we know. And you're given like 10 minutes to prep for it, and then you have like anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes with the judge. And I don't know how I was able to just like start off with the confidence, but in the club, once I started competing, I actually became pretty good. So I qualified for the international competition all 3 years that I was in the club.
Okay.
So I was traveling around all throughout the country, basically competing in these fake made up role play situations that were business related. So I did that for 3 years.
So they're like, business, I mean, you're talking sales and marketing, you're talking operations, you're talking finance. Those are
Correct.
the three main parts of a business here. Are they testing you on all of it? Is there role play in any three of it? Is it just sales and marketing?
All the above. So it could be like, there was some, I did different events every year. I did sports and entertainment marketing, which is where I was in charge of like a venue of a sports stadium. And we had an issue where there was supposed to be a sporting event, and then also it was overlapped with a concert, and I had to go to the CEO of the stadium and be like, hey, what's the best solution that's going to happen here? And so it's like situations like that where it's more of problem-solving, situational experiences.
Yep.
A lot of it, they didn't really go through like P&L or anything business really like that. Obviously, being in high school, there wasn't really real numbers that could go off of.
P&L meaning profit and loss. We'll get into that.
Yep.
Go ahead.
But yeah, it was good. I mean, I did that. I was able, like I said, to compete and qualified every year for the international competition. And then my senior year, I ended up being in the top 20%. So we did a written event. It was a whole actual business plan, and we ended up pretty much crushing that one.
What was the business?
It was a CrossFit company, basically, I think, from what I remember. I don't know. It was something fitness related.
Yeah.
And it was a girl, it was one of the previous advisors' business, and it was an actual real business, but it was failing. And so I had to go in there and revamp it. And she said if we qualified, she'd pay for our whole trip. So we ended up qualifying for internationals, me and this business partner. And it was pretty crazy. That was, I think that year we ended up going to Nashville, and that was when we finished in the top 20%.
Awesome.
So,
awesome. And then that gave you, so you're going through this in high school. Are you going through and you're like, you know what, money is important. Working for myself is important. I want to be recognized. I want to be a baller. I want to be like.
For sure.
What was the motivation?
It was all image. It was all image. Full transparency. At 18, I thought that I was the shit. I felt like I was the one where the world owed me something.
Right.
I did have a little bit of like help from my father and brother. Basically, they created this company. It was my mom and dad originally. It's what brought us from Chicago out here. Was for my parents to start a restaurant repair and HVAC company.
Okay.
And now my dad and brother run it together, and I had the option getting out of high school of go and work with them or go and start something on my own.
Yeah.
I didn't even have college in the books. I'm like, my grades were not good enough, and then also I just didn't really see the vision of let's go spend all this money for a degree and then start at the bottom, have to work my way up, be secured by a 401k, benefits, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
So I decided just to start my own business in real estate. I didn't want to go work for my dad and brother. I have nothing but respect for their company, but they are the type to go get their hands dirty.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 110 degrees. They're on top of a building putting up an AC unit. I like during my fall break, winter break, summer break, all that stuff, I was out there working away with them 40, 50-hour weeks, and I just realized that was not me.
Right.
So that was my first like humbling experience at like 18 years old, but it was also kind of like an oh shit moment. What am I going to do? College isn't it, family business isn't it. What are my options?
Right.
So my dad was like, hey, we're already doing well in business. You're the suit and tie type of guy. Why don't you just go try real estate? So
that's what you did.
I tried real estate.
So you're 18. What, did you get your real estate license?
Got my real estate license. Yep.
Making calls. I mean, deals? Like
dude,
what?
It was okay. So I started off as an inside sales agent. I got licensed
at a brokerage.
So
just to explain, you go through 90 hours of school.
Yes.
All right. This is around the country for anybody that's interested in getting kind of. And this is exactly what I did. I did it at 21. I did it in the summer in college. Read Rich Dad Poor Dad. Was like, gotta be a real estate investor. Didn't know anything. Didn't know what escrow was. Didn't know what earnest money was. Didn't know what title companies did. Didn't know what lenders did. I was like nothing. Didn't know how people got money for it. I didn't know how to evaluate properties. I didn't know anything. Right. So I was like, I'll go to real estate school. That'll help me. It doesn't. It really just sets you up to understand, to pass the test.
Of course, that's all it is.
Which basically is here's the code of ethics.
Yep.
Here's the laws in your state.
Here's all the terms. Here's a little bit of math, and then go pass the test.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's 90 hours. You take 2 tests. You get your real estate license. Then you hang it with a broker.
Yep.
Right. And that term is kind of weird. Basically, you have to put your license under a brokerage.
Yep.
And that's called hanging your license. So you went with Keller Williams.
I went with Keller Williams.
Okay.
I had narrowed it down to 2 different brokerages. One was really, I resonated with it. It was like a big, fancy, shiny object brokerage. They were a penthouse in Gilbert.
Yep.
And it was like, man, at 18, this is kind of amazing. Why not? So I narrowed it down to them and then Keller Williams. I decided with Keller Williams because they offered me a salary. At 18, I thought that was stability, even though I was 1099 on my salary, and it was $24,000 a year.
Okay.
So it was $1,000 on the 1st and the 15th of every month, and then I got commission.
This is with the team.
This is with the team.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you know, the typical like 3% is what most people are taught in school, and if you get 3% of a deal, you're doing great. I was offered 7.5%, and I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. Until I realized, because I was on salary, it was 7.5% of the 3%.
Commission.
Yes.
Oh,
so I closed 4 deals first 4 months. I got $900 for the 4 deals, and I was like, whoa, that's not the move. I have my license. I can go and do this on my own. And I know my biggest deal was $450,000. That was almost my entire salary in one commission check.
Right.
And I got like $300 from that deal.
Yep.
So I was like, hey, no disrespect to this team. I just need to go out and I'm going to step away and I'm going to go figure out what it is that I want to do. So do the commission on it.
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
Keep going.
So then I ended up going and I found the guy that was over at the Shiny Object Brokerage, the big penthouse. And fortunately, my dad's company, being Restaurant Repair, actually took care of his pizza shop that was right by ASU. And so I hit him up and I was like, again, thinking I didn't have an ego, but I was like, how do I bring value to somebody that has no business in helping me? So I ended up going to him and I was like, dude, I don't want anything from your deals in the slightest bit. You're doing pretty well with real estate. You've got your pizza shop. Why don't I just let you handle that? And I'm going to focus on bringing deals to the table. Let's just split it 50-50.
Yeah.
And I thought I was throwing like a Hail Mary there asking for 50% until I realized that, I mean, I actually wasn't asking for anything bad at all. He had nothing to lose and everything to gain.
That's it.
I mean, by helping a kid, what was the worst case scenario? I don't bring anything to the table, no harm, no foul.
Yep.
And he was helping, like my dad, being like, hey, I got your son, I'll help him out, show him the ropes.
Yeah.
And in our first year, we kind of messed around and we ended up being the number 3 team at the brokerage.
Oh my gosh.
So it was just him and I, like
But
mentor,
this is
mentee.
just sales. This is just straight,
sales.
I'm a realtor.
I am a realtor. I'm going to help you buy and sell a house, and
Yeah.
I'm going to be pretty damn good
This
at
is button-up shirt, polo wearing, slacks.
First in,
dress
last out.
shoes.
Yep. Nights, weekends, don't even bother. Like I'm working, showing houses, doing rental properties, like grinding.
Yeah.
And so I did that we were the mentor-mentee relationship for a year, and then I sat down with them and I'm like, hey, at the end of this first year, we each almost made about $100,000. This is
How old are you?
I was 18.
How does that feel at 18?
I mean, I can tell you right now, looking even from 23 to 18, I had no idea what that money was. I had no idea what I was doing. I felt like it was just...
Did you make any money before you were 18? Did you have any jobs?
Yeah, I had part-time jobs. I was bouncing around a bunch of them, from retail to restaurants to pushing carts at grocery stores.
When did you start working?
15.
Why?
I wanted money.
Really?
Yeah.
It's always been in there.
Always. It was just like
I mean,
feel
speak
like,
to the audience. I mean,
yeah.
the audience is really. I mean, this is what the audience is. These are very proactive people. These are people that are out there making an impact, hustling, whether it be getting a job at 15 and building up some sort of income, providing some sort of value. I love it.
Yep.
You know, I read a lot of books, Ryan, where it talks about raising kids and instilling in them that our purpose is to serve others, right? Of
course.
Right? Our purpose is to serve others in our community, and the better that we can serve others, the more money we make,
Of
right?
course,
The
yep.
equation is simple.
value.
The more value we provide, the more
money.
income we make until if we're smart, and that's what this show is about, until that money starts working itself. That money starts replicating, starts having little baby monies,
Of course.
and starts giving
Creates
different
other income
streams
pockets,
of income
Yep.
and different equity in things, whether it be business or property.
Right.
That's what's exciting. That's
For
what
sure.
we want to go in this show, is one, show people how to go out there and make the money, but two,
Yep.
how to make that money work afterwards.
Of course.
Right?
Of course.
I love it. So
Yep.
you're working at 15. You've got this mentality. I got to make money. I got to
Yep.
make money. You're pushing carts. You're serving restaurants. Are you
Yeah,
working in
I
the
was a
kitchen? What are
cook.
you
I
doing?
was a cook. Yeah.
Yeah. The classic, right?
Yep.
You're a cook in the.
Yep.
You're being a cook. You're doing some retail. Now you get into real estate. Now you're making some real money.
Some real money. So at this point, minimum wage was $8.05,
Right.
and I was getting $10.50 an hour plus tips at the pizza shop I was working at. And
Right.
so I was like bawling in my eyes.
Yeah.
And then I even made it was a rental check, and it was when I left the team and I had that mentor-mentee relationship with his name is Jeff.
Yeah.
And he was like, do a bunch of rentals, do this, but I'm not taking anything from your rentals.
Okay.
So I was making like $1,000 doing 2 rentals a month.
When you're saying rentals, you were helping people get
into
leases.
Into leases, correct.
Just regular people.
Yep.
Apartments, houses, helping them put together, structure the paperwork for their lease.
Yep.
Is essentially it.
Exactly.
Right.
And I mean, I'd make like 3% of the gross total
right.
lease. And so, I mean, I'd walk away with like anywhere from $500 to $1,200.
Okay.
And I did that a few times in a month. And I'm like, whoa, that's a lot less time. And also I have the flexibility rather than working at the pizza shop. So I didn't even last a month after I got into real estate. I was like, I'm out.
Yep.
So it was like a month or two after I went to the pizza shop and I was like, sorry guys, I got to go do my own thing. And then I had that mentor-mentee relationship with Jeff. We ended up sitting down. It was after our first year. We were awarded the number 3 team. And I was like, hey man, I want to blow this up, but I know that you and I can't do this together like $1 million each.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do? And I decided to start a team.
Okay.
And so at 19, we grew a team where we had 22 agents that were working for us.
Okay.
And that was probably
working for us. Who's us?
Me and Jeff.
Okay.
So we were still a team
still together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still a team underneath a brokerage.
Yep.
We rebranded everything, started it all over, and next thing you know, I mean, we were crushing it. We ended up being the number 2 team that year.
Yeah.
We were competing against our brokers, which was one of the issues as to why we split and left, but that's a whole other story.
Sure.
Yeah, so we grew a team of 22 agents. That was actually my most unhappy year I had in real estate.
Why?
Managing people that had unrealistic expectations.
Yep.
And on the traditional side, I have nothing against agents in general, but a lot of them just think that you go get your real estate license and money starts like pouring in. And so then you have this 19-year-old kid that is first in, last out in the office, and a business partner that was around but kind of more of a silent partner.
Yeah.
And so you have a 19-year-old telling you what to do all day long. A lot of them were like, well, I have a wife, or I have a husband, I have kids, I have this other job, this is part-time for me. And it's like, whoa, sounds like we have unrealistic expectations from me to you and from you to me.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like just a mutual disrespect.
You know this at 19.
I did. It was, I'm telling you, dude, going from high school to where I was, I tried to grow up really quickly.
Yeah.
Like, you start realizing some real life shit, and you're like, ah.
Well, listen, the faster that you can get to adult conversations, right?
Right.
The faster that you're going to get this thing going. The more momentum that you're going to build in your wealth building, in your income generating. Yep. The quicker that you get in to, talking to enough people, networking with enough people, seeing how people are reacting and understanding different personality types and different communication types,
right.
You start learning who goes where, especially if it's somebody in your staff, but just in sales in general, in working and finding wholesale deals or discounted properties, investment properties, all these things come down to your ability to communicate.
Of course.
It does.
Seriously.
I mean, it does. And the faster, that is the biggest, I'm telling you, that is the biggest issue that I had. Was I never had a job. My parents did a thing where they go, if you play sports, you don't have to get a job. I was like, great, okay, fantastic. So I did all that, and then in college, my parents, they pulled their cars out of the garage. Okay. My grandma gave me $2,000 to buy gym equipment. And I trained athletes. I trained kids during the summers.
Wow.
And they would pay $300 for the whole summer. And I had like 20 people, so it was like $6,000.
There you go.
And I didn't have any expenses. I had a scholarship for football. I was going to school, so that was like a lot.
Wow.
And then boom, life hits you in the face, and I was like, holy cow! I want to be this real estate. I read this book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, but I've never really done sales.
Right.
I've really never done marketing. I've never gone out and had to do like a presentation and role play on business stuff. I had none of that. So it was like when I reflect back, and I think that's my side of this is the reflection back. If I would have been taught or pushed into a situation or inspired to be in a situation where I had to go out and have adult conversations, business conversations, I think it would have been a lot faster.
For sure.
Yeah.
And so I definitely was able to kind of short track that. I mean, I was fed to the wolves, I like to say.
Yeah.
So you have to, I always say it's sink or swim.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, I unfortunately think that most people choose to go the easy route and just sink and go and fall back, comfort, whatever. But I also was in a good position where I didn't have crazy overhead. I was living at home with my parents for my first few years. Yeah. And so I just capitalized on it. Once I realized that team was not the move, I fired every single one of them, and I split apart from my partner.
Okay.
And that was when I went to EXP, multi-level marketing company, and I went under Templeton. Yep. So I was like, hey, dude, show me the ropes of this investment world.
Sure.
He used this quote to me, which I think is very impactful. I want to share it with everybody. But He saw me making noise at the brokerage, saw I was the number 3 team, then the number 2 team. I had all these agents working for me. And he's like, dude, you are the big fish in the small pond. How would you like to be the small fish in the ocean surrounded by sharks leading the way for you?
Right.
And I was like, damn, like, all right. I'm in. Let's do it.
Awesome.
So split apart from the partner, fired everybody. I kept 2 agents, left that brokerage. I was at EXP for a short, like 4 months. I got the blueprint of what I needed, and then after that I bounced and I went over to Stunning Homes Realty with Steve.
Love it.
So now I've been there for 3 years.
Me too.
Yeah, right.
Steve Trang, we were talking about, he's got a real estate brokerage here, and it's phenomenal, especially for investors. So how did you get into, you now have $420,000 worth of equity in properties. How did you get into real estate investing and wholesaling? Because, I mean, speak to it, because I want people, I want this to smack people in the face. You've done 30 deals in a month.
Yeah. That was my best month.
Wholesale.
Yeah. Mixture of wholesale, traditional, fit, and flip.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's around average 10?
Yeah. 10. If we have 10, it's a slow month.
Okay. How big is the team?
Or
really
company? 4 or 5 of us.
There's 5 people in your company. Yeah. 10 deals a month is slow for you. Guys, you can check them out. I mean, vet them. I mean, you can see them all over everywhere. Everybody understands who Ryan is here locally in Phoenix and understands. Yeah, I mean, you've got an incredible reputation.
Appreciate that.
Of going out there and being honest and humble and really just kicking ass.
Appreciate that.
So when did that start? So I was
with
20? Is this like the last 3 years?
Just 20. Yep. So I was 20 when I switched over with Steve. Dude, this was where it like really took off. It was crazy because Steve had launched the Real Estate Disruptors podcast like 2 weeks after I joined him. Yeah. So I got to see Steve go from really just this Stunning Home Realty broker to a big name celebrity, big name guy in the industry. And he just started opening doors for me. He introduced me to Jamil Damji with Keegley. Yep. And he was like, hey, right? Yep. And he's like, hey, Jamil's got this course I think he's going to be launching. It's called Astro something. And I was like, all right, whatever. I called Jamil. He set up a meeting to go meet it with him at the office. I called him 20 minutes before the meeting. I was like, hey, I'm on my way. He's like, oh, I thought it was going to be a Zoom meeting. I didn't realize you were local. Yeah. So it completely threw him off. I showed up, and he was just like not prepared for me. He's like, this is my entire operation. This is acquisitions. This is dispositions. This is my administrators. This is my assistant. This is everything. I'm like just blown away. At this point, remember, I'm only a traditional agent. I know buying, selling, escrow a little bit, transaction coordination, like I can handle that, but acquisition, what the hell does that mean? Disposition, what's the difference? Yeah. And so he told me he's going to be launching the course Astro Flipping, and it was going to be in about 2 weeks. And I was like, here's my credit card, don't even hesitate. And then it was like, I think I was the second student in the program, and they
really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
okay.
That was honestly one of my biggest breakthroughs, was just being number 2 in that program.
Yeah.
Because going from being traditional agent, we had done about like 30-40 million in sales between the 2 years with me and my team. Yeah. So I was like, okay, like I understand buying, selling, I understand contracts, I understand escrow. I just need to know the concept of wholesaling. Yep. So once I went into the course, week 1 was all mindset, and then they started like connecting pieces. It was like, okay, you're going to use earnest money, you're going to have equitable interest in a property, you're going to use an assignment contract like an addendum, use your inspection period to sell off the deal, and if you can't, cancel the deal. Other than that, you get the wholesale fee.
There you go.
And I was like, what the hell? Like, that's it? It took me about a month and a half.
Bro, and when I first learned, I was like, I was bringing deals, off-market, smoking hot deals to an investor and saying, hey, if I bring you this deal, will you give me 3%? Right? 3%, because I was thinking like a traditional real estate agent. And they were like, yeah. The dude went and assigned it for $92,000, 3 deals. Yep. Right?
Of course.
And then I was like, what is going on? And I had to, I got my first education in wholesaling was an escrow officer.
Really?
Yeah, she was like, yeah, well, they just assigned it. And I was like, what is that?
Right? You're like, what's assignment?
We'll get into all of that. Incredible. So now you're building that up. It's been 3 years, 36 months. You've been keeping some of these properties. You've been building equity, and you've been saving your money.
Yes, sir.
You've been saving your money.
Yep. I bought my first house last year. We've got a couple rentals now. Got investments into a few other deals, creative finance wise. Yep. And then I've got ownership in a title company. We've got all the businesses. We just launched a staging company this year. So yeah, knock on wood.
Awesome. Well, let's open this up. I want to get some interaction, but before we do that, Alejandro, do we have some stuff popping up?
Oh boy.
Some questions? We do have a couple questions. Okay, we got a couple questions, guys. Put your comments in here if you have questions. We are going to open this thing wide up, but let me hit you with 5 facts here
Let's
and
do
see what
it.
your thoughts are.
Hit me.
1,700 people a day are becoming millionaires.
Really?
1,700 people a day. 80% are self-made. So 20% are getting that from inheritance.
Okay.
80%, that's 1,380 people a day. What do you think about that?
I think that's crazy. I actually wasn't expecting it to be that high, if I'm being honest. I mean, you think about how many people are in the world.
Yeah.
But like so many people, again, how I started the show is they have this perception that it's not possible to be a millionaire.
Yeah.
Or they even like create all these limiting beliefs as to why they're not capable of doing it. So hearing that kind of a number, I mean, it's encouraging. It's like, why not you?
Why not?
Right?
Well, what day is it going to be you? Right? That's the whole point of the show. What day is it going to be you that you become that? When you start building up those assets and start getting that money to work for you and bringing in that income yourself. Okay, second one. 80% of millionaires hit it after the age of 50.
I believe that. Okay. That one to me is
80% after 50.
Yep.
On average, it takes 32 years of work.
Yep. I believe that. And most people too, in my opinion, they don't get, it's not even just like the financial literacy. It's like the mindset of I want to achieve a millionaire because of this. And so by the time they get to that, it's usually like 30, 35-ish, I'd say earliest. Listen
to this one. 53% were obsessed with being a millionaire. 47% said
if it happens, it happens.
They just wanted to go. They just went to work.
Okay.
What do you think of that?
That one's kind of surprising.
Which one are you?
I honestly, I'm the 53%, man. 53%. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
I want to go in there,
100%.
make it. Yeah.
I thought about it all the time.
Yeah.
Thought about it all the time. Was working on it. Was really getting going. You know what I mean? Just it was always in my head.
Of course.
That I wanted to be wealthy.
Yep.
Yeah. Interesting. 88% read 30 minutes or more a day. 88% of
that's actually
read
of
30
millionaires, yes,
a day
I believe
or
that.
more.
I thought you were saying as a population. I was like, no way. But millionaires, yes,
30 minutes or more
absolutely.
Every single day. And the last one here is the average saved 23% of their income.
Wow.
23%.
That's a pretty big number there.
That's a big number. I mean, we're taught. In the good book, 10%.
Yeah, just the 10%.
A lot of people work on that 10%, but 23% is where it's at.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that wild?
Some good facts.
Yeah.
Good facts.
So we'll bring some facts like that all the time. But let's talk about what's working for you right now in your business. How are you making money?
So streams of income, the traditional real estate team, we're starting to put a little bit more focus in that. It kind of like slowed down a little bit. As you know, we get a lot of our deals from on-market MLS deals.
I want to talk about that.
Absolutely.
On-market. Listen, he gets a lot of his wholesale deals from on-market. Listen, this channel is heavy on wholesaling real estate. That's what it is built for. I believe, without a doubt, that wholesaling real estate is the foundation. I know it's the foundation of everything that you want to do as a real estate entrepreneur. If you can find deals, if you can find discounted property, opportunities, you are going to win. That is the foundation. Everything else is built on top of sourcing discounted properties. All right, so number one step, if real estate is what fires you up, it's that fire in your belly, you need to be able to find discounted properties. We're going to show you how on the show. But tell them how you're doing it. So
on-market MLS deals, that's kind of what's propelled our traditional team back up this year is because we get the commission when we buy it. And then when we sell it, I mean, we do it obviously at a flat rate for selling our own flips. But when we go to list it, we get the publicity of putting the listing sign back up and marketing. Obviously, we get a lot of calls from realtors, other homeowners, and just people that are interested in buying the home. So we do that. And then wholesaling is obviously my biggest operation at the moment. We're doing like 7 to 10 of those a month. And then flip-wise, we're at about like 2 to 3. So
2 to 3 flips.
Yeah.
Are these big flips? Are these cosmetic flips?
They
what
are.
Are you doing?
They're bigger flips. So are
you getting private money?
Hard money and private money.
Okay.
So we do a little bit of both. But our primary focus is like the 450, 500K and up. So we'll buy them at 500K. Again, if we get commission on it too when we buy it, it's fantastic. Usually walk away like 15. Yep. And then what we'll do is we'll usually put in anywhere from like 50 to 75,000. Our biggest project at the moment has 110K rehab going into it, and then we'll turn around, we'll sell like in the 7s.
Awesome.
So
awesome.
I love that price range.
And then what about just wholesale?
Wholesale, I mean, our average fee right now is about $13,000.
Okay.
But then with it on the MLS, it's about like $7,000.
How are you getting deals off the MLS?
Dude, I mean, that's like, it's been my bread and butter since I started wholesaling.
Okay.
Once I understood the concept from the course, it was like what I started teaching people, because a lot of people were on my team were asking me questions. I was just like, what you guys got to understand is, like, on the traditional side of being a realtor, the hardest part is always going to be finding a client.
Right.
Having somebody that's a legitimate qualified client that says, hello, I want to buy a house and I want you to be my agent, that's hard. To go and find someone that says, hello, I want you to sell my house, let alone being young, that's hard. So then when you flip it over to the investment side, it's not finding a client, it's finding a deal.
Yep.
So then I just started reverse engineering, and I'm like, well, these people are selling their house on the MLS. Not only are they motivated to sell, they're employing a realtor. And I usually say, again, most realtors are not the best at their job.
Yeah.
So you're employing someone that's not the best at their job to help you sell your house. That's a lead.
Yeah.
Why not just sit on the MLS and figure out specific motivations, figure out how to target them, what
Okay.
filters to use.
Okay.
And so
is this a software? Is this
it's just the MLS. So
you're
having
just
a
looking at
yeah, just looking at it through the MLS with my license, being a licensed agent, I just log in MLS.
What do you look at new listings, or are you looking at
I don't-
listings that are
I-
on the market for
yeah,
a long time?
yeah,
The
that-
ones that are sitting.
The ones that are sitting, the ones that are new, I found that especially as I started becoming more popular with teaching the MLS, I had a lot of people kind of coming after my business. So the on-market first day, like, I will tell you, that is not an easy place to be.
Right.
You're going to be competing against 15 other offers, the waived inspection, hard earnest money, and people overpaying, whether it's an institutional buyer, whether it's an iBuyer, whether it's a wholesaler that just doesn't know how to run their numbers and they're aggressive and they're trying to lock it up when they're not going to buy it. There's a lot of other variables there that could screw a deal for us.
Yes.
So I like to target the ones that are on market having a little bit of a hard time selling, because then it's just building rapport. At that point, you know, it's either a bad agent or a bad seller, and maybe the bad agent didn't help them figure out the price was too high. The seller
So
might.
you lowball them?
No, I do, absolutely.
What do you do? Like 80%?
Dude, so we had one. It was, I'm gonna butcher the numbers. Albert on the team got it.
Yeah.
It was 110,000 off its list price,
Right.
and they had an offer that was 40,000 higher than ours, and they took our offer because of how much rapport we built with the agent.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
it's just really taking the sales skills we learned for working direct to seller leads and applying that to the agents.
How many days on market?
It depends
Is
on
the sweet
area.
spot.
I like to look at a very specific niche neighborhood, like one that I've done like 5+ deals in,
Okay.
and I'll target like 10 days. Because if it's been sitting for 10 days in this market, I mean, something's wrong
You're
with
going
it.
after it.
Absolutely.
Cash offer.
Cash offer,
As is.
5-day close, 3-day inspection if needed.
These agents are like, woo.
Yeah,
I
and
like the sound of this. This doesn't sound like a lot of work.
Yep. The only thing I will tell you, full transparency, we've been transitioning to is we have been having to go back to a little bit more of the dual agency model, where we
Yep.
have the agent, obviously the listing agent represents both the seller and the buyer, to get our offer accepted.
Got
We're
it.
just competing against them.
If you have questions about how to get deals off the MLS in your market, put them in the comments section. Make sure, guys, that you're hitting the like button as you're watching this. If you're getting value, make sure you're hitting the like button. Like. That really helps. That really helps get the word out. We want to spread financial literacy as far and as wide, and spread the mission of becoming a millionaire before you are 30. Ryan and I put together a blueprint on what that looks like. It comes down to 5 steps.
Yes, sir.
Right? You want to
5
go
steps.
through the 5 steps here? We're going to pop
Let's
it
do
up here. Look at this. Here you go. Here is the Millionaire Before 30 blueprint that we have that we put together. Yeah, we worked really hard.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And that first step is doing a deal. So we feel like this is the entry level to be able to obviously successfully do this blueprint, is that the first and foremost is you have to figure out how to bring in income. It's going to be finding your first deal and realizing that this is possible. Get rid of that limiting belief.
Love it. You have to listen when you're starting out, when you're watching this and you've never done a real estate deal, you've never done anything in your own business. It doesn't have to be real estate, but this is a real estate channel. We're going to push you towards it. We're just going to do it because I know that it's going to work for you.
Right.
But here's the thing. If you do that deal, you're living in a place of faith. You have the faith that you can do this. You have this faith that you can be a millionaire before 30. You have this faith and this belief that you can go out there and really change the financial future for yourself, for your family, for the people around you, for whatever it is. But it starts with crossing that bridge from faith to making it a fact. Once you do a deal, then it becomes a fact.
Yeah.
And once it's a fact, then you can repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. And then all of a sudden, that is what a business is.
Right.
A business is just repeating a product or service and putting it out there to the community, out to the marketplace, and earning income for the value that provides.
Yep.
So number 1, do a deal. Do a deal. Do a deal. Do a deal. All right, number 2.
we got to switch and transition full-time into the business.
That's it.
You're not able to become a millionaire doing this part-time. You've got to be able
Not
to.
before 30.
Not before 30. No, and I see too many people that there's already, I think you'd agree, there's already such a high burnout rate of real estate in general, but the amount of people that are trying to juggle it, doing a part-time job along with like trying to build this business, this is not as easy as you're just going to come in and start closing deals. You have to build a business from scratch. So once you're able to switch to this business full time, you're really establishing yourself into the industry and saying, this is what I'm going to do. And then you start believing it again.
Love it. So full time in the business. Number 3.
We've got kill the debt.
Kill the debt.
That's if you've got debt, whether it's college debt, whether it's car, whether it's rent payment, whatever it is. Like, you just got to get that out of your life. You got to start over at ground zero where you're at level 1 and start building income rather than building the bad debt.
Well, listen, if you're paying interest, you're not investing.
Right.
If you're working, like, if you look at the stats, anybody can Google it right now. It's like from January to April, you're working for the government. All right, that's your partner. Yeah, I mean, that's taxes. That's income tax. That's IRS. And then it's all the way up to September, October that most people are spending, are paying for interest payments.
Yep.
So that leaves 2 months
to make money,
to be able to invest and to save and to splurge and to have this income that is disposable. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. So killing the debt takes you all the way back. We're always going to have to pay taxes. I mean, there's some strategies there. We'll bring in some tax advisors for that. But for the most part, I mean, that's the rent that you pay to live in this country is income taxes.
Right.
So kill the debt. We're looking at student debt. We're looking at car. We're looking at credit cards. We're looking at that consumer debt type of thing.
For sure.
Next.
We got investing into assets.
Yes.
So this one's beautiful. This is the one where you start investing your money that's collecting dust in your bank account into cash flowing assets that are bringing you residual passive income. Yep. Love that.
That's it. That's what it is. Listen, you have 2 choices when you make money. You can spend it or you can invest it. It's either or.
And I mean, one thing I always struggled with being young too is as you start making a lot of money, I mean, it's easy to be like, damn, that shirt's $30. Yeah, let's do it. Why not?
Yeah.
And why not invest into an asset?
$300.
Seriously, I mean, nowadays. But like, why not invest into an asset or into something that's already appreciating, or I mean, even if it's depreciation, whatever. If it's cash flowing you money, that will then pay for your play.
Because it's not cool to wear a cheap shirt and have a bunch of money in your account. It's cool to show people that you can buy an expensive shirt.
That Gucci, Louis Vuitton,
anything.
Of course.
You go for it, right? Anyway, next, financial freedom.
Yeah, financial freedom. That's the end goal. That's the be-all, save-all, because at this point, you can decide whatever it is you want to do with the financial freedom you have. Whether it's travel, whether it's family, whether it's investing more money, it's giving back. You have so many options on the table here. At this point, this is where life is good.
Not only that, but that financial... There's a great quote, and I forget, we'll have to pull it up. I'll pull it up from one of these shows, but there's a quote that says... Once you make your first million, the second million is inevitable.
Absolutely.
Because the person that you had to become to make the first million is you just keep growing and growing and growing. And all of a sudden you are changing, you are evolving. It is a metamorphosis from the person that you were to this millionaire to be able to provide that and invest enough to be able to get to that point where you have that net worth that the second million is inevitable.
Yep. I heard a version of that basically saying like your first million is the hardest. After that,
that's it.
Just start going.
Love it.
Scale up.
All right, let's open this thing up. We're going to open it up to questions, comments. If you have any questions, put it in here, comments. We'd love to hear from you. If you are closing on deals, we'd love to celebrate you. You know that. You know I always have the bell close. We'll celebrate that, absolutely. But new show. Thank you for joining. We're going to be building this up over the years and years and years. We're going to have a good time with this and just do this thing and build it off of the audience. So we really need your help and participation and make sure that that we're speaking on things that are important, whether it be what to invest, how to invest, what to, spending, what you're dealing with as you're going through under 30s, the whole thing, mindset,
literally,
distractions.
Well, we got episodes all in that stuff. Right. I love it.
Go ahead. We got it, Hundra?
Yep, this is a good one.
Okay. Jeff, Millionaire fact: 1,700 people a day are becoming a million. 80% are self-made. 80% of millions become one. Yep, 53%. That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
So we went through, yeah.
That is it. That is the breakdown, Jeff. I mean, it's just really interesting. I mean, you could Google all these things, but it's the absolute fact. When's it going to be your day? You know what I mean? That was somebody had that thought. 53% of them at least had that thought of becoming a millionaire.
Well, dude, I mean, I don't know why people don't believe they can. Like, at the end of the day,
if you come from really rough, well, first, if you fail, that one really gets you. That got me. You come from a really just an environment or just a family that just they don't believe. They think that rich people are greedy.
Yeah, they're
evil.
Yep, I've heard that.
Or they think that you need to just do this line of work that we've been doing for years and years and years.
Right.
There's a lot of different things that affect the mindset.
And I go about, I look at it from a scale of when I first started, my thought process was to make 100,000 in a year. Once I could make 100,000, it was like, okay, now I can take this to the next step. Maybe $250,000, $500,000.
That's a huge milestone.
And so my thought process is that once you can make 100,000, and in today's day and age with technology, you can make $100,000 from your phone.
Yep.
Whether or not it's real estate or drop shipping or stock trading, even just resell of anything wholesale related. You can make $100,000 a year like that with a cell phone.
Oh yeah.
So I just try to pour it into people that it could be a limiting belief that why it wouldn't be them. I think.
Listen, this speaker.
Yep.
It's wide open.
Literally. Yeah.
Opportunities are wide open.
I was just gonna say opportunities. Yep.
I'm telling you. Does that dog keep farting? Yes. Oh my God, that dog is blowing up the studio. Holy cow! What are you doing bringing in that dog? That dog is going crazy back here. It is nuts.
I love it.
All right.
So
Millionaire.
Yep, I'm 23. I'm focusing on being a full-time wholesaler, but it gets tough when most of the market is almost wiped out. I would say that is a limiting belief. I just was talking about for 10 minutes about how I'm doing deals in one of the most competitive, if not the most competitive market in the entire country in Phoenix. Mm-hmm. And I'm not just doing it in that market, I'm doing it on market deals, which is even harder. So I would say I'd be curious to know what market you're in and what struggles you're having, and then we can obviously dive into how to help you best. But at 23, keep going.
Yeah, and listen, there's always going to be more properties than there are investors. I mean, the fact is, and I speak just to the stats. I'm not just saying that as this is a theory type of thing. I mean, there is 11 million vacant properties that have been vacant for over a year in the United States. Mm-hmm. 11 million.
Right.
I'm telling you, there is opportunity. Don't let anybody tell you that it is wiped out.
Yep.
Go out there and test it. And as you're testing it, you just make sure that you're on the phone all the time. Now, you're doing it on the market.
Yep.
We're doing it off the market.
Yep.
Either way, you need to be talking to people.
For sure.
You need to be having those conversations.
We can give the benefit of the doubt. There's some markets that are harder than others, where it's just not as much population, not as quick time to sell. I understand that in some states, but at that point, you can transition to JVing deals in other markets. You can move your market to a different. There's plenty of options.
Yeah. Awesome. 23.
Same now.
Do you base your property finding with the median income? Yeah, I mean, that's one way you could do it. Do you?
Nope.
I don't. I just pick areas that are hot. I like very specific zip codes or neighborhoods that are in the cities that I know are selling quickly, and then I just become the master of that specific market. So.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. You could do it in your backyard. I always suggest you do it in your backyard because you're going to understand the values, right. And you can communicate with these cash buyers and build a relationship and meet them eye to eye, face to face, and understand who you're working with.
Yep.
So what I would do, I hope it's Melnetra. What I would do is make sure that you're going after properties that after they're fixed up, the ARV is over $150,000.
I like that.
Okay? Yeah. That is what I'm looking at, because I'm telling you, the same amount of effort goes into selling something that's $500,000 as $50,000. The difference is at $50,000, you're making $1,500, $2,500. $5,000. Typically, it's about 10% on a wholesale, versus $50,000 on something that's $500,000.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? So there is a huge difference there when it comes to what you can make and the potential there. And obviously, the more you make, the more that you can keep, the more that you can keep, the more that you can invest, the more that you invest, the faster you become a millionaire before 30. Awesome. What do you do with your friends? Like with the friends that you grew up from that baby faced kid 6 years ago.
Honestly,
are a lot of them in business? Are a lot of them doing it? Or is a lot of your is that how you built your crew in high school and after high school was around business and being an entrepreneur?
Not too much. High school, we were just like our own little group.
Yeah.
As we got into adulthood, a lot of them went and got into just working rather than going to college. A lot of there was very few of us that went to college in our group, and there's probably like 12, 15 of us. But for the most part, we all kind of went our separate ways. We all just had different end goals, different beliefs.
Yeah.
I'm still friends with them and stuff. We didn't completely drift apart, but I don't really spend as much time with the people from high school as I used to. There's 2 or 3 of them that I do. But
got it. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's important.
Absolutely. They're very real conversations.
The people that you surround yourself with, if you want to be a millionaire before 30, you need to surround yourself with people that are millionaires.
Of course, yeah.
Have to.
And it doesn't mean that you can't have those people in your life or in your sphere. It's just that you have to limit the amount of time you spend with them.
Right.
And then you also start to realize the conversations
it's
that
not
you
even
have.
that you limit it. It's just natural. All of a sudden you're going and doing things and you're going to, these masterminds or these meetups and you're going, you're doing you're working longer hours. You have to do things on Saturday when everybody else is going, and doing something, whether they're snowboarding or skiing or going to the lake or going to the beach or going to the mountains or whatever else.
Right.
You're out there putting it in. You're out there, providing value in the weekends. But listen, I honestly think, and this is just, tell me your experience. Most people don't work when they're working. Okay, most people aren't actually doing the income producing things during the week. I did 15 hours of calls. That's it. 15 hours for years and years and years to build up my first $1 million. And that was it.
Wow.
And then that was 3 hours of calls to distressed property owners, finding deals and getting it done, right?
Yep.
And then from there, growing the business and doing that. But I would then go and do my lead follow-up, and then I would go on appointments, and I was done by 5 o'clock. Done by 5.
Wow.
9 to 5. I did a 9 to 5 as an entrepreneur to build up my first $1 million because I understood that when you are working, you need to be working.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I will tell
you.
And
if you're a real estate entrepreneur, that the whole engine of that is having quality conversations with distressed property owners, or as you're doing it, with people that represent the distressed property owners.
For sure.
Right?
And I think that with me, it wasn't really just the focusing on the work. It was honestly making a lot of mistakes.
Right.
I created a mess in a million different ways, and I figured, okay, I learned on this one, I learned on this one, learned on this one, learned on this one. The only thing I will tell you that was beautiful about how that all turned out was that it created 7 different streams of income by having all these different opportunities going.
Yeah.
If I had focused on just one thing, I will tell you, if I could go back and start it all over, the only thing I would have done different would be implementing wholesaling and flipping from the start.
Yeah.
I don't know if my success would have been quite the same, having that I needed the background experience of traditional real estate of doing deals, but still I think that would have been the only thing I would have changed looking back at it.
Got it. Yeah. Awesome.
To a millionaire before 40.
Yeah, that's it.
Right.
You got it. No, I mean, this is just, listen, there is a lot of, I think that the age that you have between that 15 and 30, 18 to 30, there's a lot of mystery.
Oh,
you know
absolutely.
what I mean? There's just a lot of how
You're
is this
figuring out
possible?
life. You have no idea
There's a big transition
anything.
there. From, you go at 12, 13, you go from being like a kid to starting to mature, right? And then you go through that whole, teenager thing, and then you get out, and then you're like, okay, now I'm supposed to be like a grown-up at 18. Right. So 18 to 30 is like this grown-up time where you're like, who am I? Who am I hanging out with? What's my identity? What's important to me? What new things am I learning? I'm now my own person.
Right.
So it's a critical time.
Without a doubt.
Critical time. Yeah. Are we just not getting a lot of questions?
No, we do.
Oh, okay. Carson, there he is. Hey, Carson, I will call you today, brother. He's the one that emailed me and put in. I got his phone number, but 17 years old.
That's what's up. I love it.
He is. He's done. I think 3 wholesale deals.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
17.
Yes. What are your favorite growing mindsets? I believe that competitive markets just imply that there are higher rewards for those who act fast, better, and more than everyone else.
I love that mindset that he has because, in my opinion, I prefer a competitive market because you have more opportunity to build relationships and JV deals with people that are doing deals in that market too.
Love it.
So,
love it.
Favorite growing mindset. What about you?
Well, listen, when it comes to mindsets, there's 2 things. It's the people you surround yourself with, and it's the books that you read. That's it. Well, and then it's just avoiding all the junk, right? So there is so many opportunities for us to dive into social media on politics, on the vaccine,
of course,
on all these, every little thing on whatever, what some celebrity's done in their life or what somebody that you're following on social media is doing and posting. And did you hear about them? They're getting a divorce or they're having baby. Like all of these things can distract you and affect your mindset. Of course. Because here's the thing, Carson, I'll sum it up. And God, who said it? I don't know. I forget. I think it's I don't know. Jamil said it, and it's a famous quote. But comparison is the thief of joy.
Yes.
And I am telling you, from 15 to 30, comparison was like wrecked my life. It did. It really did. I always thought somebody doing more than me. I was like, what?
Dude, that's a very real thing.
That dude sucks.
Yeah.
That chick is out there. Oh, she's just doing it because she's beautiful, or she's doing it because her parents, or the blah, 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 blah. You start getting into that mode. You start getting into comparison mode. You're done.
All downhill from there.
You are done. Yeah. Your joy, your mindset is destroyed.
There's enough out there for everybody. So much out there.
Not only that, but you don't know.
Right.
You don't know what's going on. You don't know what's actually getting made. You don't know what is fluff, what is real, what is actual. You know what I mean? All you know is what you see and what you hallucinate in your head.
Of course.
That's the issue.
Create those
I'm telling
situations.
you, once I broke out of that whole comparison thing and I understood what my purpose was, what my passion was, what I wanted to do, the amount of time I wanted to spend with my family, the impact that I wanted to have.
Right.
It wasn't about people having more impact than me or less impact than me or more money or less money or more opportunities or less opportunities or they're doing this and that and all these other things.
Yep.
You find joy in the work that you do. You find joy in the action that you do if you're doing things that make you happy. It's the movement, man.
It's the being happy. That's what it's all about.
Right?
Yep.
What about you? I mean, you're getting all these things thrown at you.
Yeah, so I don't know. For me, honestly, my comparison definitely was at the beginning of my career. It was like it was the whole, I keep saying shiny object syndrome, but like, oh, this person's doing this person's doing this person's doing this model, maybe I should try this, maybe I should try that. And so that's what probably led to me trying all the different things and failing at a bunch.
Yeah.
But then once I started realizing, as I became successful a little bit more and started picking up traction, it went from wanting to close 1 deal a month to now 10 could be a bad month.
Yeah, but are you looking at these other guys on Instagram and on YouTube?
Not as much as I used to.
And you see that they're like 19 or 20 and they're like, I'm doing $100,000 months. I'm
I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. There's definitely there's days that you're like, a lot
of photo shoots.
Of course,
there's a lot of photo shoots these days.
There's a lot of days like where I was like, God, like screw that guy, or I just like got like resentment towards them. But honestly, it's been really like the past 1.5 to 2 years that I've just disconnected from that, and I've just focused on myself and my team. I care more about my team's success than I do my own.
What I did, a big transition for me, and Carson, this might be something that's helpful, is I always look for what is the whenever you're looking at something, you have to ask yourself what is this? It's one of 3 things. Is this entertainment? Right? Is this literally entertainment? Are they just, is it, I get excited because I see a beautiful car, or I see a beautiful scenery or landscape or whatever else. I'm seeing all these beautiful, that you're blown up, aren't you? On your
No, yeah.
He's going off.
You're good.
That's why I got like a real watch. I had one of those, it was too much. It was too much. Anyway, you got to see, is this entertainment?
Yep.
Is this education?
Yep.
Or is this instruction?
Yep.
Right? So am I getting an action item here? If so, I really like this. If it's education, that's interesting.
Yep.
That's something that I think makes me a more rounded human being.
Yep.
And is it entertainment? Okay, I'm entertained by some of these things. It's when it crosses over, when you're getting so entertained that you think that is real life.
Right.
You have to understand, you have to like see people doing it, which I see a lot of people doing it, just being in our industry. And it's just dudes just hanging out in a parking lot with a photographer.
Right. And also, too, I mean, what I always say, like, what kind of got me out of that mindset was, like, you have to ask yourself, like, do you think that they're doing it for the right reasons, too? Like, if it makes, some people I know are genuine, like, car fans. They love spending money on their cars. Yeah. But then there's some guys that, like, look at that they buy the cars because they think they're trying to impress people they don't even like. Right. And I'm like, well, it's a whole other conversation.
That's it. Yeah. Carson, call you today, buddy.
How can I defeat self-doubt?
Jordan, great question, brother.
I love that question. Oh, man. Defeating self-doubt. It's first off, I mean, dude, you already did step one. It's accepting that you understand that that's needing to be done. I'd say the second step is figuring out, kind of reverse engineer, what is the limiting belief that you have about yourself that you can't do? And then from there, it's creating an action plan. What can you do to get over that self-limiting belief and self-doubt that you have to accomplish whatever it is that you're trying to do with your life?
I love these questions. Thank you for selecting these, Alejandro. These are great. Jordan, listen to me. You want to destroy fear and anxiety? It's called gratitude.
Yes.
So for real, brother.
Gratitude and empathy.
I mean, you can start, listen, I don't know what your background is. I don't know anything about you. But if you take it all the way to you being created, and you can get as religious as you want, but I'm going to get scientific with you here. The chances of your parents meeting up and you becoming a human being are like 1 in 400 trillion. All right? We shouldn't even be here. We shouldn't.
Right.
But for some reason we are. All right? So take that as whatever it is. Take that as God's grace. Take that as just a fortune, a roll of the dice. Take that as whatever you want to do. So grateful that you have the opportunity. And then you could just go down the line of all the things that you have, whether it be the country we live in, whether it be the family that you're in, whether it be that you can walk or swing your arms or see or
the ability to watch this show.
Yeah, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like any of that stuff. You start with gratitude first. Right. But gratitude doesn't get the job done. Gratitude is going to get you into the right place and destroy that fear and anxiety. The second thing is you need to build that confidence from taking action. Just like Ryan was saying, you need to have that action plan, that self-limited belief, get rid of that and start chipping away at it. It's not like, just get rid of it. You got to start chipping away at it by taking action.
Step by step by step.
You got to start stacking the wins. This is you, Jordan. I want to own 1,000 properties. I want to be a multi-millionaire. Okay, great. Step one, do a deal. That's the thing. Do a deal. That first rung on those 5 steps is just do a deal and then repeat and repeat and repeat. And as you do a deal, these guys are dying over here. This dog is farting like crazy. Do a deal and build that up. Build it from there. Like really just be in that action. And listen, it's not about just, the deal is the only win. If you drive around in your car looking for ugly houses, that's a win.
Right.
You get out of your car and you go knock on that door of a property, that's a win. Yep. You write down the address or use an app to get that's a win. All of these things are win, and then all of a sudden you start stacking that, everything starts building. And that self-doubt, it just doesn't have room. Your brain doesn't have room for that self-doubt. Then all of a sudden you start getting bulletproof.
It all starts up here.
Yep. Yep. All right. Solomon, yes. I am so future focused. How do we focus on the now and enjoy the process? I love it.
So this is one that I could actually talk on pretty well because this is kind of where I'm at my current journey.
I love these questions.
So yeah, I think this is solid. I, for my first 4 years, spent all this time building a business plan, building out what I thought was systems, processes, teams, everything that I needed. And it wasn't until about this year that, again, ironically, my best year, I was able to kind of take a step back and I started realizing that I wasn't happy. I was like, wow, I'm making money, I'm doing all these things, but I'm not focusing on myself. I'm not focusing on the things that are actually important to me. It's like hanging out with my friends that I do like. It's the ones that I want to spend my dog. I want to, like this weekend, I'm going to Nashville. Like it's like things like that I wanted to go out and do more, but I just wasn't. So once I was able to take a step back, disconnect.
Is it because you were like, you felt guilty if you did those things?
I felt like the business needed me here, and guilty to an extent. Like I always tell people jokingly, but not jokingly, that whenever I'm out of town, my phone blows up 10 times more.
Of course.
And it's just name of the game. But
that's a mindset thing, though.
Right. I mean,
no, I'm telling you, you feel that way. You feel that way because you're like, oh,
I'm supposed to be disconnected.
Guilty.
And I would say guilty is a good word for it. Yeah.
No, I felt it all the time. I remember, Mike Mahoney, who, if you watch our Wednesday shows, is always on there. We're business partners forever. When we were young, it was always like, you need to put in the work. You need to do these things. You need to like really, really, really focus. What, your girlfriend wants to do this and that? No, we got to do this and this and this. Or you feel guilty because you're not hitting the goals that you have, and then you see other people and you're like, well, they're hitting it. Why aren't I hitting it? I got to put in more work. I can't do all these things that everybody else wants. But I'm telling you, if you focus your efforts on taking action for 3 hours a day and talking to new people for 3 hours a day, I don't care what industry you're at, especially real estate, though. If you spend 3 hours a day talking to new people, you cannot lose.
For sure.
You can't lose.
For sure.
It's impossible.
Right.
It's undefeated. I'm telling you. So Solomon also, sorry, I kind of interrupted you.
No, dude,
keep going. So
you're good.
You wanted to do more stuff, but you're feeling guilty about it.
Once you figure out what the why is, and the stronger the why is, that's what will disconnect you from focusing on the future and allow you to actually be present and enjoy the process that you're currently at. It's about, honestly, I feel like it's extreme ownership and having the self-awareness of knowing where you're at in your journey, then going back to not comparing yourself to others and just being accepting, understanding that, man, this is a great opportunity, a great life, and then I go back to the why. For me, my why is family, friends, being present, like down the road. I want to be 30 years old and I want to be like, hey, do you want to go to Italy next week or next month? And they say, yeah, let's do it.
For the month.
Yeah, for the month.
Or summer.
Exactly.
Right. So. Solomon, I also think, I don't think that, typically, and you put in the future, you're thinking about the future focus, and that keeps you from like maybe taking action. I don't know about that. I know that you're out there taking action. I know that you're doing incredible things, but I think most people go the reverse. I think most people time travel backwards, and any time travel backwards, it's not any, but for the most part, it's rough, and it's in the past. The best part of the past is it stays in the past. It's in the past. It's done. It's gone. Right? So I love the idea of looking at the future and having a vision of what the future looks like, but also getting excited about the things that you can do today. Literally, you can't do anything tomorrow that is going to be income producing. You can only do it the day that you're doing it. So when you are making those calls, when you're reaching those people, you're taking those efforts now. Now you may get paid in the future, but it starts, the spark of that, the seed that grows into the income there starts with, what are you doing today? And listen, I think a lot of people beat themselves up. I think a lot of people beat themselves up and they don't take sustainable action. I think a lot of people jump in and they go, I'm going to go full out and I'm going to do this full time. But then all of the other responsibilities that they have in life, whether it be relationships, whether it be children, whether it be pets,
they don't stop.
Whether it be a job, whether it be all these other things, kind of get in the way, and then you get frustrated, and then all of a sudden it shuts down that action,
all momentum,
and then you're like kind of almost crippled in a way that you're like, oh my gosh, I'm just mentally crippled in thinking, I want all that stuff, I see all that stuff, I'm on Instagram and I see everybody having this stuff and it's flashy and it's wonderful. Why can't I be like that? Then the comparison, the thief of joy starts creeping in, and then also it prevents you from taking action because you're not in the right mind place.
Right.
How about just clearing it out and saying, I am a powerful entrepreneur, and today I am going to make a huge, huge difference in my business. Today. And just also, today. I'm going to do it just today.
I mean, think about it this way, too. Like, let's just play it out hypothetically. You go fast forward into the future, and you've accomplished all your wildest dreams and wishes and goals. are you going to look back and be like, man, I'm accomplished? Or what are your thoughts going to be? It's be like, man, I had the joy of building this. I had the joy of being in that moment and building this empire. So just try to, again, think about it differently of I'm now in the moment. This is I am in the now. So enjoy that.
Love it. Hamilton.
Well, that's a good one. How did you master self-discipline and focus on taking action to build a productive real estate investment business to reach your first million? Self-discipline and focus on taking action. I go back to the why. I realize that no one else is going to work as hard as I am, and no one else is going to care about my business more than myself. So at the end of the day, I had the option, being the young guy, of you can go party with friends and drink and do all these fun activities Friday, Saturday nights, or you could be in bed at 8:30 o'clock at night with a book. And yeah, that may not be the most exciting and wildest Friday or Saturday nights, but I had to be up 7, 8 a.m. to show properties on the weekends. So for me, it was just a nut up or shut up, and I didn't have another choice. So I always say I lived off the 45-90 rule. It takes 45 days to build a habit, 90 days to build a lifestyle, I think it is.
Yeah.
For me, once I was able to kind of get over the hurdle, it really only took me like 6 months. Once I had that business partner, mentor, mentee, I was just in like boot camp. So I just had to keep going. I'm not going to lie, it sucks, but I mean, it's the grind. So.
Well, Hamilton, it's, there's always, here's another list of 3 things. I don't know. We start out and we're like, okay, we need to manage our time. So time management, right? And then you look at it and you go, no, it's not really time management. We have 168 hours a week. It's more time than we need to be able to be successful. It's about priority management. All right. So then you go priority management, Hamilton, and then you go, okay, well, listen, I am going to, as a self-discipline, for me, it is priority. I know income producing is picking up the phone and talking to distressed property owners. So priority, I'm going to do that in the morning so that it gets done, because I think if it gets in the afternoon, life's responsibilities, just me personally, my brain, my personality, I know things will start slipping in the afternoon, but I know that I can start doing it in the morning and be consistent. So then that became priority. And then I realized, and this is critical, it's not only time management, priority management. It is energy management. I am telling you, you can have all the time in the world, but if you don't have the energy, you're not going to do it. Energy brings that energy brings that focus. Clarity brings energy. That whole thing, they're hand in hand, Hamilton. So really it is about controlling and understanding and managing your energy and watching those transitions that you have in life. Oh, I'm going to wake up. That's a transition. I'm going to get up. I'm going to take a shower. That's a transition. I'm going to go to the gym. That's a transition. Now I got to take off my swole hat and my fitness hat and put on my real estate investing hat and watch that transition. And then I got to go eat. That's a different transition. All these different transitions in our life is we really got to protect our energy, and we really got to keep it up, and we really got to make sure that we get that energizing enthusiasm, because we're constantly focused on the goal. We're constantly focused on going out and providing as much service and value to the community as possible, and that's really where you start building that up. You start really understanding the things in life that drain your energy and that give you energy. And I'm telling you, Hamilton, when you start getting really proactive in your business, all of a sudden, that thing that you used to be tiptoeing on, the thing that you were, maybe it's cold calling, maybe it's door knocking, maybe it's just following up with leads, maybe it's whatever. All of a sudden, that starts giving you energy, bro. That starts giving you energy. And once you get into that place, you are unstoppable.
Game over.
But you have to press through that, because we're just not naturally made that way, most of us. I guess you are. You just went bananas. But for me, it was very difficult. For me, it was, I had to really, really, really push through. It took me getting very broke and very in debt to really push me through the threshold to where prospecting, lead generation, being proactive wasn't a chore. It wasn't draining my energy. It was giving me energy. And I don't want that for you. If you just push through that, you don't have to get into massive debt and take a big black eye like I had. You can go out there and really make an impact and just push through, Hamilton. So discipline comes from your schedule. Discipline comes from what you want out of life.
Let's say your why and how bad you want it.
Yep. Awesome. Does money bring Connor? Come
Man,
on. Or does it just buy happiness?
That's
I
a
love
good
it.
question.
Yeah.
Money can buy temporary happiness, but I will say it makes things easier. I look at money more as a tool than I do as an outcome for my emotions.
I think it absolutely does.
Yeah.
And I mean, people are like, no, money doesn't buy happiness. It depends on what you're looking at. If you're thinking money as like dollars and like that $1 million type of thing, to me, it's a receipt on the value that I've provided. No joke. I'm telling you right now, that's the way that I see it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can provide millions of dollars of value. I can do this every single, whether that's my own real estate company, whether that's coaching, whether that's whatever it is.
Yep.
That is, whether it's the investments. I mean, it's just like, oh my gosh, that is so incredible. I mean, that to me, it's the receipt of it. And it opens up a lot of opportunities. And one thing that I think about, Connor, because I'm about to be 40, right? You're not there yet when you start thinking about, oh shit, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
I'm going to die someday, right? You're not there. You're like kind of living, you're like, doing your thing. You're like, oh my gosh. Not only that, my grandma just moved next door. Next door, I have this really nice house that they turned into a really nice assisted living community. It's weird. Okay. It's right next to my house. And my grandma lives there, and it's like $4,800 a month, right?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
What do people that don't have that money do? What do families that don't have that money do? How do they keep around? So now most families have to have somebody in the family staying with them like they're babies, like they're babies again, like they're children.
Right.
Because she can't walk. She fell. She can't walk. She needs nursing. She needs all this care around the time. Not only that, but my parents are getting older. I have a special needs son. I have a special needs sister. All of these responsibilities are on my plate. All of them.
Yep.
And listen, I'm not saying that that's like crazy, but I think that this is normal for anybody. Yep. I mean, everybody goes to this. Everybody has certain things, whether it's aging parents or grandparents or family or whatever else that need financial help. It gives me the opportunity to not only put them in a position to give them that help, but for me, it frees up my time to spend with my kids and my wife because I have the finances to be able to pay for some of these things, for them to live in great facilities, for them to be comfortable, for them to be around professionals, to be able to have these things. These are things I never thought of at 23 years old.
For sure.
Never.
For sure.
But that comes.
Believe me, I know. And
it's creeping.
And I think we're a little bit at different ends of the spectrum there, which is good. It adds good balance for different opinions. But yeah, I mean, of course, money's important. It's very important. You need it to make the world go round, and it surely makes things easier. That's where I say it's a tool.
I think, Connor, it's opportunity. It gives you that opportunity and
makes things easier.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
I mean, you never know when you're going to need something like that. And I'll tell you what, I was never a worse person than when I was broke. Never. I mean, just my mindset.
I'll agree with that.
And
like, not you, but me, myself.
My mindset. The way that I felt about myself, the way that I felt about other people that were successful. Yeah. You know what I mean? I was just like in a very negative place.
I resonate with that.
You realize once you get up and if you have that brain that's like, okay, I want to be a millionaire before 30, because it's not everybody. It's a very, very, very tiny amount of people that have that ambition. Yeah,
I was the same way. When I was younger, I was a lot more entitled, and I was kind of an asshole. Yeah. And it was once I started making money, it actually kind of humbled me and made me have a different perspective on life. So
yeah, awesome, great questions. I love deep diving on this stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, this is really important stuff. How do you stay persistent with a full-time job, naysayers, and the pressures of the whole world on your shoulder? Donovan, great question.
I love it. Dude, I would just say, like, this is where surrounding yourself with the right people is going to be the biggest impact in your life. I see that you put naysayers. Dude, get that person, whoever it is, I'm sorry if it's family or a close friend, get that person out of your sphere to where they have an impact on your opinion and your actions. Because the people that are going to boost you up and hold you and support you when you need it, especially right now, those are going to be the people that are going to help get you past this stage you're in at the moment. So aside from that, staying persistent, you just keep going.
Donovan, pressure. Ooh. Ooh, I love it. Bro, I love pressure. Pressure makes you feel alive. Pressure makes you grow. Pressure creates diamonds. I mean, I know that that's a cliche thing to say, but it is it's a beautiful metaphor. I mean, pressure is good. Feel that pressure on your shoulders. It's going to make your legs stronger. It's going to make your body stronger. It's going to make your mind stronger. Good. Let that pressure, get that pressure, feel that pressure. But the way to build off of that is just taking that action. The way to stay persistent is sustainable action. Here's the issue. Everybody's like, be consistent, be consistent, be consistent. Great. I'd love to, but I've got all these other responsibilities that I have in my life right now. So how do I do that? Talk to one person a day, and then take it to 2, and then take it to 3, and then take it to 4. Go 10 minutes a day. Go 12 minutes the next day. Do 15 minutes. All of a sudden, you're up to an hour a day that you're working on your business. All right? You don't have to jump right in right away. Everybody's in love with this idea of that fast, all of a sudden. And listen, I interview people that their third call that they've made in real estate, they get a $40,000 deal.
Right.
I have.
Yep, that happens.
And I celebrate that, and I love it. But I will tell you, the biggest wholesale, the most successful real estate investors that I know took 5 to 6 months to get their first deal.
Yep.
Their first deal.
Yep. Luke
Rottvold, who is on this channel a lot, which I consider America's greatest phone prospector for wholesale deals, it took him 5 months. Since then, he's done $17 million. Made. 17, he's got assets and he's got income. It's incredible.
Wow.
He's made $7 million in cash, $10 million in buying real estate. That's not all equity, but
wow.
5 months it took him to get his first deal. You hear the story over and over and over and over. So what I would say is with persistent, just change that word, Donovan, to sustainable, and you got it, brother. And listen, be proud that you got the pressure of the world on your shoulders, because when you come out that other side, you're in a place that very few people are. Very few people are. I love that pressure. I live on that pressure. If everything was just carefree and given to you and given to me and given to Ryan, how do you get that? How do you have that bulletproof self-respect? How do you have that I proved it to myself? How do you have that yes, I impacted the community. I impacted the world. Ooh, I love that pressure. That's phenomenal.
Got some good questions.
Keep going. Yeah. This show's going to go another 15 minutes, so if you do have a question, maybe we'll get it in if we're not too packed up. But here we go. Guys, this show is gold. I am wholesaling, 36 years old. Awesome, AO. No deals yet. However, y'all are definitely giving me a lot of gem. This is, yeah. All in name? Yeah, I'm sorry.
We'll
awesome. Thank you, AO. How many episodes do you plan on doing? Will each episode cover different? Yes. Yeah. This is going to be a regular thing if you guys want it.
This is just the beginning. Yeah. We got episodes. I mean, we got books coming. We got plenty of big stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we've got
stuff.
Honestly, Samuel, this is I called Ryan a couple weeks ago and asked if he wanted to do this. And I think that this thing's going to evolve based on the community, based on the support, based on the comments, based on participation. Because I want to know what's going on right now. I think that there's probably some universal things, universal questions that a lot of entrepreneurs have. But I think there might be something different, some different changes that we're dealing with.
And also, too, there's not really many people that target the younger crowd. It seems like what attracts them is the shiny objects. It's the comparison on social media. And Brent and I, when we were chatting about this, we both resonated because we want to actually provide value and a blueprint for the younger generation to be able to go in and make an actual impact on not just the community around them,
blueprint up again,
but also the people that are in their lives, their own lives. They can create generational wealth, whether or not it's the real estate or just building their own business. The blueprint is here. And so it's just taking action on that.
Yep. Do a deal full-time, go full-time in it, kill the debt, invest in assets, financial freedom.
Boom.
There you go. Is there more mindset videos in the future? Absolutely, Dominic.
Of course.
Every week we're going to come here live at 10 a.m. Arizona time and talk. We're going to break down. We're going to go through different episodes, different thoughts. If you guys, we would love if you put in the comments section things that you are either being challenged by or questions that you have that are really deep diving. We'd love to build it around that. I mean, we have ideas for the first, few months of where we want to take this, but absolutely. And the reason this came about is because of this community. I've had a lot of people just say, we want more mindset. We want more mindset. We want to break this down. And I think being able to do that and bringing on other entrepreneurs. We'll have special guests that come on that are under 30 that have made it, that are going through it, that are in that. That'll be really interesting to get their perspective on it. But yeah, absolutely. And today's, Daniel, do you mind grabbing the Go Giver book? Off the Go Giver. I highly suggest from a mindset standpoint, Dominique, the Go Giver book. If you haven't read it, it is a very fast read. If you haven't read, I think that the whole book is online for free.
That sounds right.
What was that website? I put that website that's like books that you can just get for free. Anyway. We'll figure it out. But Go Giver is the book of the week. Make sure that you read Go Giver. Fantastic book. The 5 Laws of Stratospheric Success. I read this book.
If you just Google the Go Giver, it
yeah.
comes up as a PDF.
Yeah, you can get the whole PDF for free. This book, I want to support Bob Berg because he's phenomenal, and I did an interview with him. So I always like having I buy hundreds of these books and give them away, but I like having something that I can highlight and go back. But I read this book every week for a year.
Wow.
For a year in 2017, and my business in 2016 was about 254,000, and then it went to 742,000 that same year.
Wow.
Incredible. Yep. Aaron, what do you guys wholesaling schedule look like in the beginning of your journey? What does your schedule look like?
So I'm not gonna lie to you.
Let's answer his question.
Yeah. So
her question?
What did your wholesaling schedule look like in the beginning of your journey? In the beginning of my journey, when I first started, it was through the Astro program. I locked myself in a room and I told my director of operations on my traditional team, if you need me for the next month and a half, don't.
Gangster.
And so I disappeared for a month and a half, and I was just hitting the phones. It was MLS, it was outreach, it was building relationships, title companies, submitting offers. And I did that for about, honestly, my first 3 or 4 months where I was just grinding. And in that first 4 months, I probably made about 50,000.
Yep.
So it was just grinding. It was building a name for myself and also just building relationships. So
Aaron, 9 to noon was when I would make my calls. That was money time. That was sacred.
Green
all right,
time.
so I would time block that. Nothing distracted me. 9 to noon, I would be making the calls. So I always think that the afternoon is for finding deals. The morning is for finding deals. The afternoon is for doing deals. I would take a quick 15-minute lunch from 12 to 12:15. From 12:15 to 1 o'clock, I would do lead follow-up. And then 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock, I would go on appointments. If I didn't have appointments, I would drive for dollars or I would get back on the phone. Boom.
It's a lot more structured.
Schedule.
Yeah.
And Aaron, on this channel, you can just look up the perfect daily schedule, and it's all broken down in great detail there. Yeah. But thank you for
solid
asking.
question.
Because it matters.
It does.
But remember, if you are, if you can go full time. If you can't, if you're working, if you're doing something, if you're going to school or working or whatever it is, then you got to fit it in so that it is sustainable. Awesome. MJJ Smooth Criminal. Brent and Ryan, what are your guys' largest wholesale deal? And Ryan, how many rentals do you buy a year?
Solid question.
Yeah.
My largest wholesale deal was an MLS one. My learning lesson of this story is to double close over a certain amount because that agent hates my guts. But we made $65,000 on an assignment. I think it was 65, and then I also got $11,000 in commission. So that was my largest one. It was about $70K we ripped. And then how many rentals do I buy a year? At the moment, it's only been about one to two. So I would say my goal for next year is probably 2 to 5. So
112,000 straight assignment. Yeah. 112,000 straight assignment. How many rentals do you buy a year?
It's like 1 to 2. It's not
Okay.
anything crazy at the moment.
Okay, got it. Any reason why?
Need more capital to buy.
Yeah.
So.
What are you talking about? You're sitting on $500,000.
Yeah, I mean, when I look at deals though, like when we look at them, it's either wholesale or flip. It's not buying as a rental. We actually just started implementing where we're looking for an Airbnb, but then also we're looking.
The answer
into
he's not telling you here, MJJ, is Phoenix is an interesting market for buy and holds.
That too.
Okay? So Phoenix is not the rental price, the rental amounts versus the top. Yeah, the
cap rate ain't there.
Negative
6% if we're lucky.
I mean, listen, no, I'm 6. Yeah, 0.06.
Right.
We're not a tremendous rental market. I think my strategy is we just bought a huge commercial building. I bought a commercial building with 3 other partners. That's 21,000 square feet. I think that's an interesting play here in Phoenix for the long term with the economy and with business coming here. I think that's a smart thing. I think owning multifamily here in town is always increasing. So when we invest in rentals in our market, MJJ, it is for appreciation, depreciation, and debt pay down. It's not for cash flow. We're not a real cash flow market. Yeah. So it takes me a lot to look at something and go, okay, that is something that I want to buy.
Do you have rentals out of state?
No.
See, that's what I've been looking into.
I buy my properties cash though, so it's 1 or 2 a year.
Yeah.
But they're $300,000 or $400,000 each,
Gotcha.
and I only buy them in good school districts in good areas that I know is going to appreciate higher than if you're on the outskirts in the lower price markets.
So we've been looking into like Midwest states right now.
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends that are having success with burning properties out there. You buy it like 50 to 70,000, put 30 into it, refi, and you're out at like 175.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm looking into those.
Don't do it.
Don't
do it.
Why is that?
Because you don't know the market.
Got connections.
Okay.
We'll
I'm
see.
telling you.
Make my mistakes, fail forward, right?
No. Listen, do it, and we can document it on
Okay.
here. But here's the thing. When you start going out of state and you start doing these deals, and then you got to get contractors, and then you got to get the lenders that lend in those states, and you got to make sure they understand the market and the rental rates and everything going on there. I am telling you, if you don't have somebody running that for you, your mind is going to be
nightmare.
It's not that. Do you know how much more money you could make with that same amount of effort?
Out here?
Doing anything, doing an extra deal. I'm just saying.
I know, I'll keep you posted if we end up going through with it. I got you.
There's a certain amount. We get lulled into some interesting things, but there's a certain amount of brain capacity that we have, energy that we have every single day. And then if something's out of sight, out of mind, all of a sudden that thing starts
Sounds like a challenge
in.
to me.
All right.
I'm the king of delegation, so we'll figure it.
Okay, beautiful.
And if I go through with it, we'll document it. We got this.
And then I'll be doing it.
Right?
If I cold call 6 to 12 hours a day, I'm only 19. I have a car. How long you think I'll be for me? 20 hours it takes. 20 hours, but it takes 90 days, Ellie. So here's the thing, 20 hours, the average is if you're making the calls yourself, it's 20 hours to get a deal as long as you're filtering through the list. Make sure that you're going through the content here on this channel and really getting the list and filtering them so that you're going after truly distressed properties, or just drive for dollars and get those properties because those are distressed. And start building that up, okay? And then 20 hours, but it takes typically the life cycle is somebody that you talk to today, you're getting paid 90 days. So you got to have that 90-day buildup of consistent, sustainable action to get to the point where those things start popping every single month and then week and then day.
And I think she's saying she doesn't have a car. If you don't, you can always virtually drive for dollars. I mean, that's always the move.
Yeah, virtually driving for dollars. There's a video on it. Here, Ellie, we got you covered.
Let's go.
Got you covered. Awesome.
One more question?
One more question. This is fantastic. Great show.
Let's do it.
Crushing it. Look at you. 23.
Look at us.
Look at this.
We're doing the thing.
All right, Holmes, go ahead.
I have thought about hiring someone to teach me how to comp. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It just got me so confused. I don't seem to get one right. What do you think? What's your advice? learning how to comp is the most important piece of information.
Deal or no deal.
Yeah, literally.
Deal or no deal.
I would say there's a bunch of videos on YouTube on how to comp. For me, I don't cross any major streets. I don't go by zip codes. I go off of finding one in that very specific neighborhood that has been ideally remodeled, and then I can turn around and use that as a comparable property to the property that I'm looking at, my subject property.
How long did it take you?
To learn how to comp?
Yep.
Honestly, to get really good at it, it was about like 6 months. And that was also, again, with me having my prior 2.5 years of traditional real estate experience. So being an agent to learning how to then comp and understand what a buyer and investor be paying for it. It took me about 6 months. So I'd say for someone that doesn't have any experience, probably give or take 6 to 8 months. But
got it. Matt, will you put it on the screen here? My iPad here. Holmes Ketsa. Listen. This is just a quick little thing here. Okay, so if you are, what I want you to do is I don't want you to overthink this. I have a great mentor, Tom Kroll, that said ARV doesn't matter, which is very, very interesting. He said assumptions reduce victories was his whole thing. That's what he meant ARV was. Yeah. Assumptions reduce victories. So what I really like and what I've tested out, because he said that and then didn't, he gave some background to that, but not a tremendous amount, so I wanted to expand on that. When you're looking at a property, I want you to pull it up on Zillow, I want you to pull it up on Redfin, and I want you to pull it up on PropStream. If you don't have PropStream, that's at ttpdata.com, ttpdata.com. It's $99 a month, but I'm telling you, it is something that every investor, every serious investor uses. Check it out. But if you don't, I would find you could go to a third website, maybe a realtor.com or something. Anyway, count those, take all three of those estimated values from those websites. They're free. Add them up, divide by 3. Okay? Add them up, divide by 3. And if they're 250,000 and above, I want you to offer them 66%. That's typically about what you're going to get that deal for. That's going to be a deal for you, okay? Now, if it's totally destroyed, it's going to be a little bit different. If the property's in real rough condition, 66% will help you out. If it's under 250,000, I want you to use 50%, all right? Now, there's a little bit of discrepancy there because it's the same number. So what if it's 249? Do I go 50%? Yes. If it's above it, 250, go 66%. Just don't overthink it. If it's under 100,000, you're going to be offering around 25%. That's about the ballpark that you want to be in. Okay? So this is just easy. Don't overthink it. Look at the websites. Get an estimate. Are you going to be perfect? No. Do you need to learn how to comp? Yes. Should you be practicing comping through PropStream and TTP data? Absolutely. I'm telling you that is the resource that you use. If you don't have the budget to do that, you're going to have to do a deal first. But it's very difficult to screw up a motivated seller, especially if you're the only one that they're negotiating with. So use these tactics. Use this equation right here. Take a screenshot and just don't overthink it. And if you screw up, then you screw up, and then you can just go back and talk to the property owner. But if you're truly uncertain, Ketsa, squat up with somebody that's in your market that has experience and can educate you on what the properties are worth. All right?
Love it.
Love it. And that's it. That is the end of the first show of Millionaire Before 30. Let's put up that ladder, the 5 steps real quick here. Do a deal, get full-time, kill off that debt, don't fall into that trap, invest in assets, and get to that financial freedom where you've got the passive income that is covering up your expenses. So, how do you feel?
No, felt good, man.
Went fast.
Went very fast.
Didn't that feel fast?
Yeah, and I'm ready for the next one.
90 minutes.
Let's do it.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us. Make sure that you hit that like button. It really helps kind of put us into whatever algorithm YouTube wants to put us in so that we can find more like-minded people. The more like-minded people that we find, the more that you could squat up. The more that you could squat up, the more you will make. So it's all hand in hand. So thanks, Ryan, for jumping on. Any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Thank you so much for having me, and I'm excited to see where the show goes in the future, and more importantly, for the impact we can make with the audience. So
awesome. Thank you, guys. Love you guys. Till next week. See ya.